Hey friend, welcome back to Studio Notes, the space where I share tools, supplies, resources, and ideas I've been discovering during my creative path. The goal here is to save you a little time, help you start a project, or inspire a new idea with these notes. So today's note is about something that completely changed the way I looked at creating art. And surprisingly, it's something tiny. I'm talking about ATCs and ACEOs. Now, if you've never heard those terms before, don't worry, I hadn't either until the beginning of 2025. Both ATCs and ACEOs are small pieces of artwork that measure just 2.5 by 3.5 inches, the same size as a baseball card or a playing card. And honestly, that's what makes them so interesting. For years, people have collected and traded baseball cards, so artist trading cards take the same idea and apply it to art. The concept of artist trading cards, or ATCs, was actually started by a Swiss artist named M. Vinci Sternemann. I hope I pronounced that right. But it was back in the 1990s. His idea was simple: create original artwork on a small card and trade it with other artists. Not sell it, trade it. Art for art. And I just love that idea. When I first learned about ATCs, it was through an artist online who hosts an annual trading event. The idea was that you create a set of cards, mail them in, and then receive cards back from artists all over the place. I believe I sent somewhere around 6 to 10 cards and ended up receiving a collection of artwork from artists I had never met before. And it was so much fun. Every card was different styles, different mediums, different ideas. Some people used watercolor, others used collage. I've seen mixed media, block printing, stamps, pastels, markers, colored pencil, you name it. The only real requirement is that it stays within that tiny 2.5 by 3.5 inch size. And honestly, I think that's what makes it so approachable. There's something about working small that feels less intimidating. You don't have to commit to a giant canvas. You don't have to spend weeks on one piece. You can sit down, create something in a short amount of time, and still feel like you've accomplished something. In fact, that experience is what planted the seed for my 100 watercolor project. At the time, I was looking for a way to create more consistently without overwhelming myself. A large painting every day felt unrealistic, but a small painting, that felt doable. So I borrowed the dimensions from artist trading cards and started creating tiny watercolor pieces. And before I knew it, I had completed 100 of them. I still can't believe it. Then there are ACEOs, which stands for art cards, editions, and or originals. They're the same size as ATCs, but instead of being traded, they're sold. You've probably seen them on places like eBay, Etsy, art markets, and even artist websites. Some artists create original one-of-a-kind ink cards, others create limited editions. I've seen ACOs sell anywhere from a couple of dollars to $15 or more, depending on the artist, the medium, and how many people are interested. What I like about ACEOs is that they create an affordable entry point for both artists and collectors. Collectors get to own original artwork without needing a huge budget, and artists get a way to share and sell their work while continuing to experiment and create. I've also noticed artists use these cards in completely different ways. Some create an entire collection around one medium. Others use them to test ideas before turning them into larger pieces. And some use them as creative exercises. Others develop a recognizable style and build a following around their miniature work. There really isn't a wrong way to approach them, and I think that's why I wanted to share them with you today. Because whether you're looking for a way to connect with other artists, start creating more consistently, experiment with new medium, or even explore selling your work, these little cards can open a lot of doors. Even if you don't stick with them forever, they're a great place to begin. Sometimes the hardest part of creating is getting started, and when the canvas is only 2.5 by 3.5 inches, that first step suddenly feels a lot less scary. If you've ever made HECs or ACEOs, I'd love to hear about your experience. And if you've never heard of them before, maybe this is your sign to give them a try. Thank you for spending this studio note with me. And if this episode brought you a little inspiration, I'd love for you to follow the podcast and join me again next week. As always, keep creating whatever way feels good to you. P.S. Next Friday, for our next Spotlight interview, I'm talking with an artist named Sally. We talk about how her love for animals and nature inspired her to create a little side hustle that's truly one of a kind, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. See you then.